The enemy returned by Paulus back. Today we're gonna discuss the climax of the lesson, okay? Are you all ready? Shall we begin? Okay. It won't bother me much, the young man said. His young face was gone under the stubby blonde beard. Say, doctor, I have got something I want to say to you. If I hadn't met a Jap like you, well, I wouldn't be alive today. I know that. Sadao bowed, but he could not speak. Sure, I know that, Tom went on warmly, his big thin hands gripping a chair were white at the knuckles. I guess if all the Japs were like you, there wouldn't have been a war. Perhaps, Sadao said with difficulty, and now I think you had better go back to bed. He held the boy back into bed and then bowed. Good night, he said. Sadao slept badly that night. Time and time again, he walked thinking he heard the rustling of footsteps, the sounds of twig broken or a stone displaced in the garden, a noise such as men might make who carried a burden. The next morning, he made the excuse to go first into the guest room. If the American were gone, he then could simply tell Hannah that so the general had directed. But when he opened the door, he saw at once that there on the pillow was the shaggy blonde head. He could hear the peaceful breathing of sleep, and he closed the door again quietly. He's asleep, he told Hannah. He's almost well to sleep like that. What shall we do with him? Hannah whispered her old refrain. Sadao shook his head. I must decide in a day or two, he promised. But certainly, he thought, the second night must be the night. There rose a wind that night, and he listened to the sounds of bending bows and whistling partitions. Hannah walked to, or we were not go and close the sick man's partition, she asked. No, Sadao said, he is able now to do it for himself. But the next morning, the American was still there. Then the third night, of course, must be the night. The wind changed to quiet rain, and the garden was full of the sound of dripping eaves and running springs. Sadao slept a little better, but he woke at the sound of a crash and leaped to his feet. What was that? Hannah cried. The baby woke at her voice and began to wail. I must go and see. But he held her and would not let her move. Sadao, she cried, what is the matter with you? Don't go. He muttered, don't go. His terror infected her, and she stood breathless, waiting. There was only silence. Together they crept back into the bed, the baby between them. Yet when he opened the door of the guest room in the morning, there was the young man. He was very gay and had already washed and was now on his feet. He had asked for a razor yesterday and had shaved himself, and today there was a faint color in his cheeks. I'm well, he said joyously. Sadao drew his kimono around his very body. He could not. He decided suddenly go through another night. It was not that he cared for this young man's life, no, simply it was not worth the strain. So Dr. Sadao gave the suggestions, okay, the exercise and all to relax the muscles and all. And that time the American said that, okay, it doesn't bother that much, okay, pain is not that much serious, no problem, then also I'll do the exercise like. And now I am alright, like the American says. Okay, now he's on feet, he was standing and he held a chair and said that, doctor, actually I must thank you, okay, you are a very good Jap. Jap means Japanese, okay, and if all the Japs were like you, there wouldn't have been any war. Okay, you just imagine that those words, okay, what is that, doctor, you are a very good person, kind-hearted, okay, you are a very good Jap, and if all the Japs were like you, there wouldn't have any war at all, like that he expressed. So doctor agreed, okay, if everybody are very good at heart, sure, no enmity would be there. That doctor also agreed, okay. Anyhow, that scene finished, that night came, okay, doctor and Hannah went to sleep, but doctor was not able to sleep. Why? You people know that that day only the general planned the murder, okay. So doctor was just waiting for the footsteps. If any stranger steps he could hear, they are going to that American's room or to the partition door opening or closing, something must be heard, like that he knows, okay, because that day only they just planned the murder, okay. That's why doctor was waiting for the footstep. And even small sounds outside and all, during night we could hear, okay, that was he heard and all. So he was expecting that murderers to come and kill this American, okay. And that night without sleep he just spent. After that, early morning he woke up, and the first duty what he did, he went to the American's room. He wanted to see that whether the American had gone or not, okay. When he opened the door, the American was nicely sleeping in the room, okay. Nothing happened to him. No murderers came yesterday that he came to, no, clear. We saw the general plan, but the murderers did not come yesterday like he came to know, because the man was safe and he was nicely sleeping there. So the second day, night also, doctor waited. He said, he thought that, okay, this must be the day, and today sure the murderers would come to my home and kill the American, like that way he expected. And that day also he waited for the footstep and all, okay, but that day also some other things and all sounds, small sounds he could hear and all. And when next day he went to American's room, again he saw that the American was safe and he was there. So the second day also the murderers did not come and they did not kill the enemy, okay. And he waited for the third day, and third day came, okay, and this must be the day, he thought like that. Understood? Who thought? Sadao. Today sure the murderers would come, like that way he just expected, and he went to the bed, okay. But he went to the bed because of the 2 days without sleep and all, he fell in asleep. But immediately he heard a sound. This is the third day, listen carefully. He just went to sleep, deep sleep. That time immediately Hannah and doctor, both of them heard a sound outside, okay. And they came to know that it was drizzling outside, okay. Rain, it was raining. And then whistling sound and even wind sound, everything they could hear, okay. And even the partition door also, its banging sound they could hear. So great sound they heard. That's why Hannah asked that, what is it like, okay. She shouted. When she shouted, baby was sleeping. Baby also woke up and started crying, clear. And Hannah wanted to see that what is the sound and all. She was about to move out of the bedroom. That time Sadao just hold her hand, okay, and then said that no, should not go outside and should not see that whatever happens there, let it be, like that way he said, and he did not allow Hannah to go out of the room, clear. So Hannah got something, okay, something wrong with Dr. Sadao. So Hannah asked that, what happened to you? What is the matter? Why are you not allowing me to go out? Okay, because we heard the sound. We must see that, okay. And even that door also started banging and all. We must close the partition door. I must go, like that way Hannah says. Okay, but the doctor says that no, that man is now perfectly alright. If he wants to close the door, he can. Okay, you should not go, like he says, and he stopped Hannah from going. And after that they both went for sleep again and put the baby in between them and slept, okay. Next day morning, with the hope that the murderers came and killed the man and removed the body, like that hope, with the hope, Sadao went to American's room, okay. But American, he was just standing in his own feet there, okay. And yesterday he asked one razor to shave his face. Now he shaved his face and all, and very handsome guy he was, with full health. He was standing there, okay. That doctor saw, and doctor came back, okay, and said Hannah that he is perfectly all right, like. But in his mind he thought, 3 days I have waited for the murderers, but now no time for waiting them. Understood? I must do something today itself. I must get rid of this tension from my home, okay. So I am not going to wait for the murderers, he decided himself, because 3 days he waited for them, nothing happened. Now he wanted to get rid of the tension, so he decided himself something. You are well, Sadao agreed. He lowered his face. You are so well that I think if I put my boat on the shore tonight with food and extra clothing in it, you might be able to row to that little island not far from the coast. It is so near the coast that it has not been worth fortifying. Nobody lives on it because in storm it is submerged. But this is not the season of storm. You could live there until you saw a Korean fishing boat pass by. They passed quite near the island because the water is many fathoms deep there. The young man stared at him, slowly comprehending. Do I have to? He asked. I think so, Sadao said gently. You understand, it is not hidden that you are here. The young man nodded in perfect comprehension. Okay, he said simply. Sadao did not see him again until evening. As soon as it was dark, he had dragged the stout boat down to the shore, and in it he put food and bottled water that he had bought secretly during the day, as well as 2 quilts he had brought at a pawn shop. The boat he tied to a post in the water for the tide was high. There was no moon and he worked without a flashlight. When he came to the house, he entered as though he were just back from his work. And so Hannah knew nothing. Yumi was here today, she said, as she saved his supper. Though she was so modern, still she did not eat with him. Yumi cried over the baby. She went on with a sigh. She misses him so. The servants will come back as soon as the foreigner is gone, Sadao said. Now after some time, Sadao went near to that American and just bowed to him, okay, and said that, now you are perfectly all right, okay. Sadao said this to who? The American. You are perfectly all right, your health is okay, okay. And Sadao asked a question to the American. What was it? Yes, he asked that, see, if I give you a boat, okay, my personal boat, and food, water and all, will you be able to escape from this shore? Like he asked, okay. So listen carefully. He asked that if I provide a boat and some food, clothing and all, would you be able to escape from the shore? Like he asked. So the American asked, see, if he asked me, do I want to do like that? He asked that question. So Sadao said that you must do that. You must escape from here because everybody will come to know that you are here and all. I would be in trouble. So you must escape from here. I would give my personal boat, okay. You can just row the boat and nearby an island is there, okay. You go and stay some days there, and you know many Korean fishing boats used to pass through that, okay. If you will be able to catch a ship, okay, or fishing boat, you can escape to your own country, okay. So this is my plan. I will provide you my personal boat, food, clothing, everything. You can use it and go and stay there in the island. Whenever the Korean fishing boat comes through, you can go to your own country. That was the plan made by Dr. Sadao. 3 days he had waited for the murderers. Nobody came, okay. Now he is not able to kill him, okay. Why? Because he's a doctor. He only knows to save life, okay. That's why what he decided to give his personal boat, clothing, water, whatever he needs for so he decided to give all those things and asked the American to go to nearby island, okay. That near only storm season the island will be sinking, okay, but now this is not storm season, okay. So you can go and safely you stay there. Whenever Korean fishing boat comes, you can escape to your own country, okay, like the doctor said. And now only the American got his breath back. He came to know the plan and all. And that day doctor went outside and he bought bottle water, food, everything, okay, and even 2 blankets also he bought from the pawn shop. Pawn shop means second-hand shop, second-hand items selling shop, no, that is known as pawn shop. So he went to that pawn shop and bought the quilt, okay, also everything, whatever he needs, everything he just bought and came to the shore. And where he tied the personal boat, he just took that boat, this all bottle water, even the quilt, everything he just filled in the boat, and he tied the boat near the shore and came back to home as he is returned from the job. Like that way he came. He did not tell anything to Hannah, okay. And he came home and Hannah just served him food. While serving food, Hannah says that Yumi came here today. She was crying. She badly misses our children. Like that she says, okay. Anyhow, she served food. That time, Dr. Sadao says that you don't worry about the servants, okay. They will be back soon. After the enemy has gone from our house, they will be back soon. You don't worry, like that he said, okay. At the same time, he did not reveal about his plan. Only he gave assurance that servants would be back soon. He went into the guest room that night before he went to bed himself and checked carefully the American's temperature, the state of the wound and his heart and pulse. The pulse was irregular, but that was perhaps because of excitement. The young man's pale lips were pressed together and his eyes burned. Only the scars on his neck were red. I realized you are saving my life again, he told Sadavo. Not at all, Sadavo said. It's only inconvenient to have you here any longer. He had hesitated a good deal about giving the man a flashlight, but he had decided to give it him after all. It was a small one, his own, which he used at night when he was called. If your food runs out before you catch a boat, he said, signal me 2 flashes. At the same instant, the sun drops over the horizon. Do not signal in darkness, for it will be seen. If you are all right but still there, signal me once. You will find fresh fish easy to catch, but you must eat them raw. A fire would be seen. Okay, the young man breathed. After food, Sadavo went to the American's room, okay, this guest room, and he checked his pulse, observed the wound and all. Again, you just listen. He knows his profession well, okay. So as a doctor, he only knows to save life. So he checked everything, and once again, he just himself gave the assurance that the man is perfectly all right. And he informed about the plan. Everything is ready. So today night you must leave the house. Okay, that instruction the doctor had given to the American. That time American, once again he thanked the doctor. Okay, doctor, once again you saved my life. Okay, you only give back my life. So thank you so much. He thanked him. And doctor just says that, okay, you do one thing. But first doctor wanted to give him a flashlight. He decided to give him a flashlight because he is going night only, that's why. But immediately doctor decided that not to give. But again he decided to give a flashlight, small flashlight to the stranger sorry, it's not stranger, American. Okay, he decided to give a small flashlight. And doctor says that you can keep this flashlight with you, okay, when you reach the island, and if see, you want to leave here, before catching the boat, if you finish your food, already doctor filled the boat with different food items, okay. So you reach the island, and before catching the fishing boat, Korean fishing boat, if you run out of food, okay, all the food items finished, what do? You just give me 2 flashes. I'll arrange food for you. That is the thing. Understood? Listen how kind-hearted how kind he is, okay. You just listen. What he says, if you run out of food, okay, when you are there in the island and run out of food and you are not able to catch the fishing boat, what you have to do? Give me 2 flashes, then I'll come to know that you are running out of food and I will do something for you. Like he says, okay. At the same time, while giving that flash or the light, okay, signal, should not do during night, okay. Why? Because during night from the island, if you give that flash, somebody will come to know that a person is living there, okay, then they will come there. So during daytime only you must give that flash twice, then I'll come to know that you are running out of food and I'll arrange something, like he said. At the same time, see, food is there, you are able to survive. At the same time, you are safe there, but not able to find the boat. That time you must give me 1 signal, only 1 flash. That time I will come to know that you are safe, but not able to catch the boat. That I will come to know. So you can give me only 1 flash. And one more thing I can say, that that's a fishing island only. You can get fish easily. At the same time, you cannot cook it, eat it raw. Why? If you just lit fire, everybody will come to see. Understood? That's why you can eat raw fish. Okay, but I should know that if you are running out of food or you are safe, like that, okay, give me signal, don't forget to give, like that doctor says. See here, you listen, if the stranger escape, if the American escape also, the doctor wanted to know about his situation. That's why he gave this trick to the American, okay, and American agreed everything, okay, and he thanked the doctor. He was dressed down in the Japanese clothes which Sadavo had given him, and at the last moment Sadavo wrapped a black cloth about his blonde head. Now Sadavo said. The young American, without a word, shook Sadavo's hand warmly and then walked quite well across the floor and down the steps. Into the darkness of the garden, once, twice, Sadavo saw his light flash to find his way, but that would not be suspected. He waited until from the shore there was one more flash. Then he closed the partition. That night he slept. You say the man escaped? The general asked faintly. He had been operated upon a week before, an emergency operation to which Sadavo had been called in the night. For 12 hours, Sadavo had not been sure the general would live. The gallbladder was much involved. Then the old man had begun to breathe deeply again and to demand food. Sadao had not been able to ask about the assassins. So far as he knew, they had never come. The servants had returned and Yumi had cleaned the guest room thoroughly and had burnt sulfur need to get the white man smell out of it. Nobody said anything. Only the gardener was cross because he had got behind with his chrysanthemums. But after a week, Sadao felt the general was well enough to be spoken to about the prisoner. Yes, Excellency, he escaped, Sadao now said. He coughed, signifying that he had not said all he might have said, but was unwilling to disturb the general further. But the old man opened his eyes suddenly. The prisoner, that prisoner, he said with some energy. Did I not promise you I would kill him for you? You did, Excellency, Sadao said. Well, the old man said in a tone of amazement. So I did, but you see, I was suffering a good deal. The truth is, I thought of nothing but myself. In short, I forgot my promise to you. I wondered, Your Excellency, Sadao murmured. It was certainly very careless of me, the general said, but you understand it was not lack of patriotism or dereliction of duty. He looked anxiously at his doctor. If the matter should come out, you would understand that, wouldn't you? Certainly, Your Excellency, Sadao said. He suddenly comprehended that the general was in the palm of his hand and that as a consequence he himself was perfectly safe. I can swear to your loyalty, Excellency, he said to the old general, and to your zeal against the enemy. You are a good man, the general murmured and closed his eyes. You will be rewarded. Now Dr. Sadao gave the American a Japanese dress because in American dress he cannot go outside, okay. So he just made that appearance. Dr. Sadao gave a Japanese dress to the American. American wore that dress, and even you know that Americans' hair, golden hair, okay, that should not be visible. That's why doctor gave a black cloth and then put over the head. Now he looks like a Japanese, okay. And now the time up. The American said goodbye to the doctor and then he started walking outside, okay. First flash, second flash, third flash, because he wanted to see the way it is night, okay. And he just flashed the light and after that doctor was not able to see him. Why? Because he reached the shore and took the boat and started rowing it, okay. That was the scene there. And now we'll come back to the general, okay. What happened to the assassins? Why the general did not send the assassins? That we will discuss now. Listen carefully. Doctor, see, actually now doctor is saying that 1 week before, okay, this plan and everything was going on, but 1 week before general was in a critical condition and doctor was called during night. Doctor went to the palace and an emergency operation was done, okay, for the general to rescue him. And it was really a risky operation. Bladder also, everything was involved, okay, the internal organs were involved. Anyhow, the operation was successful, but 12 hours doctor was not able to say whether the general would alive or not, okay. But after 12 hours the general overcame the situation and out of danger. Clear, that was the situation happened before. So those days the doctor was not able to ask about the assassins or why the general did not send him, and all those questions were not able to ask because the general was in that condition, that's why. Okay, and now he is okay, general is okay and he is about to speak and asked food and all, okay. So that time doctor informed the general that the prisoner has escaped from his home. So the general asked that prisoner, he escaped, like he asked. And general said that, did I tell you that I would send assassins and kill you? So didn't I send them, like he asked, because he totally forgot, like that way he just speak. So Sadao said that, yes, you assured me you would send assassins and all, but they did not come, like. So now the general spoke. Okay, he said that, yes, actually I planned like that. Okay, I wanted to send the assassins. But you know, if something happen, any mistakes happen there, if the people come to know about our plan or something will go out, sure, we both will be under trouble. And see, in case I am serious person, means I am a patient, nothing would happen to me, but they will arrest you. I need a doctor, a skillful doctor for my operation. If I send the assassins also, if the news goes out, sure, you would be under trouble. That's why I did not send the assassins there. So you don't think that I don't have patriotism, I don't like or I don't love my country. You don't think like that, okay. I think of myself only, that's why I protected you. You don't think like that. I have real patriotism, okay. At the same time, my condition is like that. I want to get my life back. Only because of that I did like this, okay. That's why I did not send the assassins. Why I did not send the assassins? Because if the news go out or any mistake happen from their hand, people will come to know about that. Then also you will be under trouble, doctor. That's why I did not send the assassins, okay. And don't think that I don't have patriotism, like, okay, I love my country. At the same time, you are a good person. I need you to save my life. Because of that only I did, like the general said. And also one more thing, he added that, doctor, you are a good person, sure God will reward you. Okay, very great words from the general. God will reward you, Dr. Sadavo, because you are a good person. Even the readers also came to know that doctor is really a good person. Okay, so the general said that God will reward you. So after that, doctor went to his home and he saw that servants were back, okay, they came back because the American had gone from their home, that way servant also back. And even the servants did not ask about the stranger, okay, what happened to him, where is he and all, they did not ask anything about it. And even Hannah also did not ask anything because they all were relieved. Why? They were out of tension. They don't want to know anything more about. Okay. Anyhow, they came to know that the American is gone. Okay. That only they want to know now. So they did not speak anything about this each other. Clear. And now when Yumi entered inside the house, she felt that American smell everywhere. Okay. Because the American was long days, he was there, and she felt that smell everywhere, like that feeling she got. So what she did, she burned the sulfur to get rid of that smell, okay, and clean the room and all. Now everything is safe as normal. They came back to their normal life. But Saddam was searching the spot of black in the twilighted sea that night, had his reward. There was no prick of light in the desk. No one was on the island. His prisoner was gone, safe, doubtless, for he had warned him to wait only for a Korean fishing boat. He stood for a moment on the veranda, gazing out to the sea from whence the young man had come that other night, and into his mind, although without reason, there came other white faces he had known. The professor at house, he had met Hannah, a dull man, and his wife had been silly, talkative woman, in spite of her wish to be kind. He remembered his old teacher of anatomy who had been so insistent on mercy with a knife, and then he remembered the face of his fat and slatternly landlady. He had a great difficulty in finding a place to live in America because he was a Japanese. The Americans were full of prejudice, and it had been bitter to lie in it, knowing himself their superior, how he had despised the ignorant and dirty old man who had at last consented to house him in her miserable home. He had once tried to be grateful to her because she had in his last years nursed him through influenza, but it was difficult, for she was not less repulsive to him in her kindness. Now he remembered the youthful, haggard face of his prisoner, white and repulsive. Strange, he thought, I wonder why I could not kill him. Everybody came into the normal life, but Sadako did not. Okay, why? Because he just wanted to see that whether his reward is there. Okay, general told that God will reward you. So whether the God had rewarded him or not, he wanted to know that. What is his reward? He is waiting that. He asked him to escape. Who? American. Okay, so whether the American escaped or not, that the doctor wanted to know really. Okay, then only he also will come back to the normal life. So what he did, he went outside the house and watched the sea. Okay, whether he is getting any flashlight or not. He already told him that, see, if you are not able to catch the Korean boat, what you must do? You must give me the flashlight. Okay, so he waited for the flash for a long time, but he did not get any flashlight. Okay, so the doctor came to know that, yes, that is his reward. Okay, what is it? The American has gone. He was able to catch the Korean fishing boat and he escaped to his country. Okay, that was the real reward he considered. Okay, anyhow, the doctor was able to save his life. Okay, that is the story. But you know, when he was standing outside the veranda, he started thinking about his past. Okay, many people came to his mind. He was standing outside and thinking something. Okay, he just started thinking about his past, and many American faces came to his mind. Okay, when he was in America, many people he met with. Okay, so he first started thinking about the professor who just professor's house. Okay, the professor who he just stayed there as a paying guest. Okay, that professor and his wife. wife was so talkative and the professor was so strict person, and even their house they did not get many facilities and all, but they were just acted like boss. Okay, he started thinking about that professor and the landlady. And next, the anatomy professor came to his mind. Okay, anatomy professor used to say the students that every time you should be kind enough with your patients. Okay, that words also came. And after that, doctor just changed his accommodation to some other house. That landlady also was too much noisy and disturbed every time. Okay, and all them, whoever he met with, all the Americans are just, they dealt with prejudice. Okay, they have that bossy ass attitude. Okay, that repulsive nature, arrogant, everybody is having that. That is their blood. Okay, that is their nature. All the Americans, they have this. And even finally the man, okay, the American man who was there at their home, his face also came to the doctor's mind. Okay, and his face is also like arrogant, repulsive face only that doctor came to know. So all the Americans are our enemies, and their faces are repulsive, arrogant, so prejudiced, and even they just every time show that bossy attitude. Okay, this is the American nature. And now Japan and America became enemies, and their nature is like that. Then also I got an American enemy in my hand. Why should I just save him? Why did I do that? I don't know still. Okay, that is the doctor's thought. Okay, because he got that arrogant person, even their enemy in their hand. Then also I saved his life. Why? That I don't know. That is the thought of our doctor. So my dear children, here ends our story. You know that actually Dr. Sadao, he has that patriotic feeling. Okay, he loves his country. At the same time, he gives more importance to his professional ethics. That is the ethics of a doctor. Okay, if they are able to save a life, they must do. Okay, should not consider anything else. They must save a life. Saving life is a great thing. Okay, that only he did. Clear. At the same time, general, he is also a patriot only. Okay, he also loves his country. At the same time, he wants to get his life back. Then only he can save his country. That's why he also did not reveal about the American prisoner to others. Understood? So Dr. Sadao was really lucky because he got the general in his hand. Okay, because the general's life is in his hand. That's why only general did not do anything towards Sadao. Okay, so that also was a luck factor. Now we come to know the conclusion that Dr. Sadao, Hana, and even Dr. General. Okay, these three are having real patriotic feeling. Okay, at the same time, the humanitarian consideration made them to do so. Okay, and finally, the American got his life back. This is the story, and this is for the day. Here ends our lesson. The enemy returned by Pearl is back. Hope you all have enjoyed the story well. I'll meet you soon with a new lesson. Thank you for being with me.